Medieval Europe was basically one giant culinary horror show. Your chicken tasted like rubber that had been marinated in pure despair. Your bread was so stale, it could be used as actual building materials. And your vegetables, they had all the flavor of wet cardboard mixed with existential dread and a generous helping of sadness. Europeans were trapped in a food nightmare where every meal was basically punishment for existing. Then some complete lunatic brought back tiny seeds from the other side of the planet that could make food taste like actual food instead of edible torture. Those magical little seeds became more valuable than your soul. Kings went absolutely batshit insane over peppercorns. Nations murdered each other trying to hoard nutmeg. This isn't about cooking shows. This is about how dinner seasoning became the most ruthless economic weapon in human history. Medieval Europe had the weirdest relationship with money imaginable. Your rent paid in peppercorns, your taxes collected in cloves, your salary measured in cinnamon sticks. This isn't some cute historical metaphor. Landlords literally refused gold coins and demanded pepper instead, because pepper held its value better than anything governments could mint. Walk into a medieval bank carrying black pepper and watch grown men scramble to serve you. A pound of pepper could buy a house, a pound of saffron could purchase a war horse, a single nutmeg could cover rent for a year. These weren't luxury items, they were the backbone of international finance. Medieval banks built maximum security vaults specifically for spice storage. Picture Fort Knox, except instead of gold bars, it is bags of cinnamon under armed guard. Merchants conducted business by shipping spices like we wire money today. Need to pay someone in Paris? Send nutmeg. The Catholic Church restructured their entire tax system around seasoning. Bishops sitting at tables, counting cloves like modern accountants count cash. What's our quarterly revenue? 60 pounds of pepper, 40 pounds of cinnamon, enough nutmeg to fund 3 cathedrals. European kings measured royal wealth in spice stockpiles rather than gold reserves. When Henry III of England received 4 pounds of pepper as tribute, court records show it was treated as a major state windfall. 4 pounds of seasoning, worth more than most people earned in their lifetimes. The Dutch East India Company wasn't just a business, it was a business with its own professional military and legal authority to declare war on anyone who threatened quarterly profits. They commanded 40 warships, operated 150 merchant vessels, employed 50,000 people across 3 continents. Their annual revenue exceeded most European kingdoms' entire national budgets, and they sold dinner seasoning. They possessed legal authority to wage war without government approval. The Dutch Republic handed them unlimited military power to protect spice revenues. Sir, local rulers refuse our exclusive contracts. Then eliminate the local rulers. Then we need Amsterdam's approval for regime change? We are Amsterdam, at least the profitable parts. When the Dutch controlled Indonesia's Banda Islands, they weren't operating spice farms. They were running global economic command centers. These islands, smaller than Philadelphia, generated more wealth than entire European empires. The Dutch controlled international currency by deciding where nutmeg could exist. The Dutch pioneered the most counterintuitive business strategy in history. They would purchase enormous spice harvests, transport them thousands of miles, then systematically burn them in public harbors. Not because products were defective, but because abundant supply would decrease prices. Ships carrying tons of perfect cinnamon would dock in Amsterdam. Dutch executives would inspect cargo, then order public incineration, deliberate destruction to maintain artificial scarcity. Sir, our harvests produced record yields. Profits could be enormous. Burned 60% before market release. That's destroying guaranteed revenue. That's guaranteed sustained revenue. Capitalism 101. They transformed waste into wealth, and the Dutch preferred destroying inventory to risking competitive pricing. Modern industries that deliberately limit production, they are using tactics invented by Dutch merchants burning cinnamon for centuries ago. Portugal and Spain took spice competition to its absolute extreme. These nations examined world maps and decided to partition the entire planet. The Treaty of Tordesillas drew an imaginary line through Earth's center. Portugal claimed everything east, Spain claimed everything west. They divided all physical reality because they were competing for hypothetical access to better cinnamon trees. Two European countries sitting around tables, declaring, "You can own half of the existence, we'll claim the other half, and hopefully one of us discovers superior seasoning." When Columbus accidentally encountered America while searching for Asian spice routes, Spain immediately claimed two entire continents, close enough to our target. These land masses belong to us now. Columbus spent his remaining years insisting he had located Asian spice routes. He had actually stumbled across half of the world's undiscovered territory and missed it completely because he was fixated on finding pepper. The discovery of the Americas was fundamentally an accident caused by European spice obsession. 1667, England and Netherlands negotiated history's most spectacularly stupid diplomatic agreement. England surrendered Rhode Island, microscopic land where wild nutmeg grew. In exchange, the Dutch transferred ownership of allegedly worthless North American swampland. Both teams celebrated like they had pulled off the heist of the century. England diplomats were ecstatic. "We secured agricultural territory plus guaranteed nutmeg monopoly." Those Dutch negotiators have zero business sense. Dutch representatives were equally satisfied. "We obtained valuable real estate for insignificant trees." Those English have no idea what they handed us. Each side walked away convinced they had outsmarted the other. The English believed nutmeg rights were infinitely more valuable than American wilderness. The Dutch thought Manhattan represented superior long-term investment, that worthless swampland was Manhattan Island. The Dutch had just traded the most expensive real estate in human history for exclusive control over dinner seasoning plants. Both sides considered the Dutch the obvious losers. Dutch and British East India companies created the fundamental playbook for modern corporate domination. Every tactic mega corporations use today was developed by spice traders 4 centuries ago. Control the source, don't just buy products. Control who's authorized to grow them and where. Eliminate competition. Deploy any methods necessary for monopoly status. Engineer artificial scarcity. Restrict supply to maximize pricing. Capture regulatory systems, and when governments interfere with profits, replace governments. The British East India Company didn't trade with India. They conquered the entire subcontinent. They transformed a civilization into their corporate subsidiary. Local rulers could retain ceremonial titles, but only under company management. "Sir, Indian merchants want to trade with French competitors." Unacceptable. Our contracts specify exclusive rights. What if rulers ignore our monopoly? Then we establish direct control and criminalize competition. A seasoning company became the government of India. Modern corporate influence looks amateur compared to the 17th century spice monopolization. European financial institutions completely reorganized around spice economies. Banks developed specialized services for spice traders. Insurance companies created policies covering spice cargo. Investment syndicates formed solely to fund spice expeditions. Amsterdam Stock Exchange, the world's first formal stock market, primarily traded spice company shares. The Dutch East India Company issued history's first publicly traded stock. Private investors purchased stakes hoping to profit from Indonesian pepper harvests. Daily prices fluctuated based on spice cargo arrivals. Entire national economies became dependent on seasoning imports. When spice ships arrived late or sank, European markets crashed. When Indonesian reports indicated abundant crops, stock exchanges celebrated. Economic stability for civilizations depended on agricultural weather, affecting dinner season and production. Spice economics didn't just generate wealth, it restructured international power. Nations controlling spice sources became superpowers. Countries dependent on imports became economic vassals. The Netherlands transformed from a small European territory into a worldwide empire, purely through spice monopolization. Portugal constructed the planet's first international colonial network to secure season and supplies. Spain funded exploration of entire continents, hoping to locate alternative sources. Nations without spice access remain subordinate regardless of other resources. No matter how much gold a country possessed, without reliable seasoning supplies, their food preservation remained primitive. Their medical treatment remained limited, their trade remained restricted. Spices created the world's first global economic hierarchy, not based on military strength or territory, but exclusively on access to dinner flavoring. The system was so profitable and entrenched that it seemed permanent. European empires built strategies assuming spice monopolies would continue indefinitely, but economic systems based on artificial scarcity contain inherent vulnerabilities, and those vulnerabilities were about to reshape everything. The spice trade built the modern world economy, created the first multinational corporations, and turned dinner seasoning into the ultimate economic weapon. But if you want to understand how Europeans actually found these spice islands in the first place and the completely insane wars they fought to get there, check out our previous video on the age of exploration and the spice wars. Because this economic madness we just covered, it all started with a few desperate Europeans willing to sail off the edge of the known world just to make their food taste less terrible.